What is going on, everybody? And welcome back to Meet the Critters. There was a little lapse there, but we're back. We survived. And exciting news. As you can all see, I didn't pop Joe up. I'm on the wrong side. I didn't pop Joe up. He's already here.
Yep.
Because Joe's our new co-host.
Yeah, excited. I'm glad for the opportunity and stuff.
Yeah, we'll have fun. And to be honest, I need someone to rein me in because I just go off on just whateverness, and it's helpful.
Yeah, hopefully we can get things figured out and kind of get a plan of what we're doing. And me and you've been talking back and forth on different ideas and whatnot. So I think we got a fairly decent plan going forward. So
no, for sure. Because it's like, this podcast has already taken so many different evolutions from the very beginning, where it was like, I'm solo talking about one breed. And it's like, that's never happening again. And then having the guests on and breaking it down like that. But having a co-host now really opens up a lot of like, all right, we can now have continued topics over multiple different podcasts and kind of keep hammering it. Even when we have interviews, we can kind of stick to something, which I could have done solo. But again, I need someone to rein me in a little bit. We got Canadian Farmstead in here.
Yeah, what's going on? I was just clicking over. I'm still getting used to the new layout. I'm not used to being on this.
You're not used to having all the stuff, right? And we got Digger over here too. Good to have you, boys. Canadian Farmstead. I liked those awkward solo shows about a single animal breed. Those were so rough.
We can get we can have Canadian to do those, and we just put him up in like the middle of the show.
Right.
He can be the awkward person.
Perfect. Oh, he won't get on. He'll never get on camera. Oh, we got Tyler over here too. Man, everybody's coming back. Feels good to be back. I hated not doing it. Like I didn't.
Yeah, you've been itching for like the last 2 weeks to get going.
Get something out. I hadn't done like even a guest on a podcast in like a couple weeks. Yeah, and I was like, and then Brian Norton put in one of the groups about doing like a sobriety podcast. Like, I'll do it. I don't care. I'll do it.
I caught part of that towards the end of it.
Yeah, that was fun. That one's over on the UTG after party page. Yep. I will come back and drop that in the link to this video. But that was super fun. It was me, Brian Norton, and Tactical, and we just kind of talked about sobriety and the things that go along with it, and the challenges, and all the good things about it at the same time. So it was.
I definitely think you guys had a good thing going with that. I mean, I haven't struggled with that personally myself, but I have plenty of family members that have, and
I think they're super fun. No.
But no, I'm glad that you guys did something like that. I think having multiple different perspectives and having that resources out there, you never know who you're going to help with it. So
right, and I actually sent it to a couple family members that are going through it too. Of just like, hey man, like I'm here for you. Like let me know. Like I'm here to talk if you need it. And I did this. If you want to listen to it, you don't have to, but I get it. So, but it was good. But no, it's because how many times have you been on the show now? Like,
I honestly I don't know anymore.
Yeah, it's at least 8 or 9 times. I feel like.
Yeah.
And it was fun to get you because I was your first this was the first podcast you were ever on, and then it's been fun to see.
So far it's the only podcast I've ever been on. So
right, we're gonna change that. Yep. We got some stuff in the works. Well, we won't say it here now, but we got some stuff in the works. Rachel's here. Hi, Rachel. But it's been fun to see like the evolution of it to where it's like now when you're on whenever you are on the podcast, it's very like, oh yeah, no, this is exactly what we're doing, this, that, and the other. Because it's funny to see it from this side. Because Josh did the same thing for me going on Renegade Butcher podcast. And it was like, oh, so that's what it is. All right, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how are your holidays? What's new? What's falling apart? What's going great?
Everything.
That was going to be my answer too.
Everything. Holidays were, they were good. Chaotic as usual. We usually stay home on Christmas Day with the kids and let them enjoy their Christmas. But, we got multiple family get-togethers between Christmas and Christmas Eve and then New Year's, and McKinley's birthday is New Year's Eve. So we had birthday party, and we got plenty of stuff to do those 2 weekends. And during the week too. Of course I was supposed to take, Christmas and New Year's off, but
that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
That's hopefully going to happen. Have you heard back from them at
all? I applied.
All right. Canadian Farmstead says, I've been working my way through all the Pasture Pig podcasts. Joe needs to get on there. Yes, he does. We are going to get him on there for sure. My episode just came out yesterday.
I'm going to catch that
like
this
3
week.
months ago.
I've been listening to it on. I've been catching up on some of Brian's stuff, the Pasture Pig podcast, Survival podcast. But I've been trying to listen to them all on Fountain, and they only allow you so many stats, per day. So I've been spacing it out on who I'm listening to and when. So I'm going to catch that one probably Monday when I get back in the shop. It's nice to have an internet over there, so I got one of those. I think it's a JLB speaker, the Bluetooth speakers.
Yeah.
That thing is sweet. But I just connect it to my phone and listen to music, listen to podcasts all day. That's been pretty nice.
I'm a headphone guy. I need to have a headphone in. I've done the speakers and stuff like that, and it's fine. But especially running bandsaws and grinders and stuff like that, it just gets to a point where it's like, I'm not hearing anything anyway.
Yeah.
So
that thing it's pretty loud. Like when I was doing sausage, I did I don't know, like 260 or 280 pounds of sauce, something like that.
Yeah.
The other day, and I was running a grinder, and the sausage suffer is not that loud, and I had no problem hearing it. Now the bandsaw, when that kicks on and the freezer kicks on at the same time, it drowns everything out.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, I mean, half the stuff I do now, I do with the headphones on. I run with the tractor just because, and I'm 100% podcast. I don't listen to music at all in the shop, so it's like I want to listen to what they're saying, and if I'm grinding, I'm not hearing anything. Oh, Rachel, got about 5 inches of snow and now rain. Not shoveling anything. Yeah, we are getting ready to get about 14 inches up here. Yay.
Yeah, we got hit. I think we're probably around 5 inches right now. It's still snowing. We'll see what we end up with in the morning. But yeah, it came down hard. I ended up, I was telling you before we hopped on here, I bought a bunch of hay today, spent way more money than I needed to, but it's, necessity. Animals don't stop eating. So I lined up with the guy that I bought my original round bales from. I messaged him and he didn't have anything available that he thought. So he lined me up with, I think 18 or so round bales. That's coming in a couple weeks.
Nice.
And he's going to haul and deliver for me. Those ones are on a pretty decent deal. They're stored inside, pretty good quality stuff. And then I picked up 57 first cutting, really nice square bales from him this morning. And then I stumbled upon another guy that was selling dry rounds that were stored inside. Those were a little bit more costly. It cost me a little bit more to have them delivered, but I needed something to get me between this weekend and I get that other load. So I bought 11 bales from him. So the next 2 months of spending money on just hay's very saddening.
Yeah, I know. I just when I was out feeding today or tonight, I was like just doing checks on what I have. And I'm pretty much a weekly at the feed store at this point, just because my storage isn't the best.
Yeah.
And I'm like looking at everything going, pigs are fine. Horse is looking light. This is going to be interesting. Like, because feed stores close it on Sundays and it's like, we can make it.
Yeah. Same here. I go through the Amish feed store.
Right.
And he's closed on Thursdays and Sundays. So today I was like, I should get there, but then it started storming and the guy showed up with the load of round bales right as it was starting to storm. His truck wasn't that great in the snow. So he was sliding all over the place. We unloaded them all by hand. And I said, screw it. I'm going to keep working on the stalls in the barn for the pigs. I just fought with the pigs all day trying to get them moved. And that didn't happen. So hopefully in the morning.
Yeah. Speaking of, my necessity of the week has been my goddamn pigs are everywhere.
Breaking loose.
I tried so hard. I finally gave in and was like, you know what? Everyone who's like electric works, just an electric fence works.
Yep.
I gave in, and when I did that winter paddock, I just did that. I did 3 lines of electric across the front of that, so the pigs wouldn't get into the barn and stuff like that. And it worked really well until the ground completely froze or something. I've checked everything, and I have no more grounds. I've got nothing, and my fence is just it's dog shit. Like that's the only way. It is not putting up anything.
Mine's pretty dead, but luckily I got that fence charger that knocks the crap out of them. But that's why I'm fighting with the sows. They refuse to come through the gate, even though it's wide open. Sprinkle feed out there and everything, and they just won't come through.
Yeah. So you need to get on the ground and just roll through the line. Like that's not there. Just get on the ground. And just
I had the bucket and the feed right on the line, and the one finally started eating, but the one that's due like any time started walking back up the fence line. I didn't want to push my luck because once I got them separated in the fence between them, I knew it was going to be a complete disaster. So I just backed off. I put a bunch of hay out, filled up the hoop house, and hope that she lasts a couple more days. That's all I can hope for, and I can get her down to the barn.
Canadian Farmstead says, I thought you were good at fencing. So did I. But no, there's a reason why I'm so anal about my fencing. Like I've talked about it since before I've been on podcasts. Like I am crazy about my fencing, and I finally gave in. And I was like, you know what? Like so many people do this. This has to be fine. Like this just has I must just be overreacting. I'm not. I had to run to Tractor Supply yesterday, load 4 16-foot long hog panels into the bed of my truck by myself, and unload them at home with 2 kids screaming at me, and got a hardwire fence up in 20 minutes.
So when I load them in the back of the pickup truck, I lay them across the tailgate lengthways.
Yeah.
And then I reach across as far as I can reach, and I bend them and I flip them up and then onto the truck and slide them in. That's how I usually load them when I'm by myself.
I had the guy with the forklift there. So I did have a forklift to help me as well. But he pulled them off and he's like, how are you going to get these in your truck? I'm like, you work here. Like, you've never seen anyone do this before?
Yeah, exactly.
And I was like, okay, like drop the forklift. Okay. And I'm like, just drop it here in this open area and grab that piece of wire. And I just grabbed it and just bent all 4 over, and then just had him lift it with the forklift, slid it into the truck, which I also have 4 massive slabs of granite in for weight because now I'm plowing.
Yep.
So I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. Can we get home?
In hopes that it doesn't spring apart or straps or something.
Exactly. Like I strapped it down and everything, but the entire way home, I'm like,
there's a lot of pressure on those.
There's so much
they're heavy duty.
And then I get home and I've got both kids with me. My wife's working, and I'm like, I back up to the winter paddock. I'm able to slide everything off. But before we get home, I'm like, all right, Leah, she's my 4-year-old. I'm like, I'm going to need a little help. I need you to cheer me on. Because I have also I got 2 hours of sleep because the youngest was up all night and I have a cold. So I was in a fantastic mood, and I've been chasing pigs around all day. And I'm like, I'm going to need you to cheer me on and like keep me happy. She's like, well, can I get out? I'm like, no, you're going to stay in the truck because it's 12 degrees out and pigs, like an electric fence. I'm not dealing with it. So I just need you to cheer me on. So she sat there with the window open for 20 minutes going, go, Dad, go, Dad. And then like 10 minutes into it, I just hear the youngest, like the 1.5-year-old, just like, I'm like, oh God, please just give me time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough when they're that young. Couple more years.
Yeah. A couple more years. I can just be like, yeah, go play in the field. I don't like with the 4-year-old. I can, but with the 1.5-year-old, I can't.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. See, my kids are past that stage. Like I can go work for a couple hours and leave them be. And I trust them enough that it's not going to be completely trashed when I get back.
Well, see, McKinley's pretty responsible. Like, if I have to go out, because that day I went out while the youngest was taking a nap, and I looked at the 4-year-old and I'm like, here's a bunch of snacks, here's your milk, here's your TV. I got to go outside for like 20 minutes and try to figure out this electric fence. And I explained it 4 times. I'm like, I'm going outside. I will be right back. I'm not leaving. I'm right here. You're going to see me out that window. And about 15 minutes later, all I hear is just, Dad, where are you? I'm like, currently getting zapped by an electric fence because he scared the crap out of me, but I'm right here.
Yep.
Oh, they're fun. Actually, I didn't, and I'm surprised that I survived that trip. Canadian Farmstead says, "Did you pull on the strap and say that's not going anywhere?" That's almost a recipe for disaster if you don't say that.
That is a thing. It works.
It works every time.
I've had some pretty sketchy loads strapped down where I said that, and they held. Oh, yes, Rachel, I'm glad for that pretty sweet shop. We got a lot more plans coming up. We've been, like big plans coming up for the shop. We've been working through. So hopefully we'll start working on them here shortly. I think we're going for 2 new coolers, pull down and a walk, dry aging cooler, like good size coolers. I think we're going for like 18 by 24 and 12 by 24. And then we're going to have the kill floor back there. And once we get all that figured out, we're talking about which direction we're going. We're going to set up our holding pens right off the outside. Right now they're on the other side of the driveway, but it worked out pretty good. I had a couple wild Angus beef dropped off the other day that I killed there on Thursday. And the black one, of course, it was rowdier than the red one. It caught out and it stood there looking around like, what the heck is this? And it laid right down after the guy left.
Right.
The black one paced around and around and around, hit the back. Like when it came out, it
came out hot.
Yeah, it came out.
I love those Angus.
So I was like, you're the one that's going first because I'm not taking any chances on that. So I finished setting everything up and it worked out pretty good. I finally starting to get a routine with the beef and stuff. I've done 6 beef so far, and the smallest one was 450 pounds, I think, hanging weight. It had some issues. I was already at the farm doing a steer for the guy. Appreciate that, Rachel. And so I think I've done the first beef was 900 and something pounds. I don't think my scale was working quite right. Being brand new, I didn't get it figured out. I think it's actually heavier than that, but I'm not going to change it on the owner. The next 2 beef was 860 something pounds and 450. And then then I did another beef that was 900 and something pounds. And then I did those 2 beef, and it was a heifer and a steer. The heifer was 900 pounds and the steer was over 1,000.
Jesus.
Yeah.
It's growing big out there.
Yeah. These are all beef breeds too. None of them been dairy crosses yet. So I'm sure that I'll get a good fluctuation, but a lot of this is I'm picking up the people that haven't been able to get into other shops.
Right.
Or, older cows that they're not getting bred. I just booked 2 more this week. So I've got 3 more coming up in the next couple weeks that I got to do. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of slow on pigs because we haven't got the smokehouse yet. That was a big thing. Like, me and you had talked about it. You up there, it's normal not to have the smoke products. It's not
some places do, but it's not a deal breaker for most people because most people are just happy to get in somewhere.
Yeah, around here, you guys I was listening to you were on Kentucky Survival podcast the other night, and I was listening to that pretty good. And you were talking about how there's only so many. We got a lot of shops. I mean, in our area, in Western New York alone, we've got a fair amount of shops. There's not as many USDA shops. We have a good amount of custom exempt shops. So, and everybody's got a smokehouse. So it's like, if we didn't get the smokehouse, we probably wouldn't have got the pork that we needed to fill the dates that we needed to be above our limit.
Speak of the devil. What's going on, Jason?
Yep. So, so we got the smokehouse is hopefully going to be here in like 4 to 6 weeks. I mean, it's been 3 or 4 weeks since we sent the money out for the order.
So I'm gonna be playing around with our smokehouse a little bit because it's like I have a smokehouse.
Yeah, you got that one on the trailer, right?
Yeah, I just don't have the time to play around with it, and luckily and unluckily, right now I have some time to play around with it. So more than likely in the next couple of weeks we'll be doing that. I'm light on slaughters just because of the season and I was telling someone, I'm like, yeah, it hasn't been cold enough and it hasn't been snowy enough for people to understand they don't want their animals over the winter.
Yeah. Well, that and just coming out of the holidays and
Just
people
coming
are
out of the
strapped for
holidays,
money
everyone's
and
strapped, and it's
give it two
part
more
and
months.
and it's on me as well. I only book
Yeah.
out a couple months in advance
Yeah.
anyway, and we don't really advertise that much because we usually don't have to. So we've been doing a little more advertising and kind of pushing some stuff out. So it's like, all right, we'll see. But we just put our 4 feeders into the freezer. So they're getting picked up this weekend and Monday. So that'll be a good little buffer. Then I'm plowing and I'm going to be doing some work for my neighbor, hauling around some lumber. So that is the nice thing about working for yourself too. It's like, all right, it sucks. Like it sucks that I'm not making money doing what I'm probably supposed to be doing at the shop, but it's all right. I can duck in here and jump into something real quick. I don't have to go out and find a new job. Like,
luckily for me, I've stayed fairly busy since opening up with livestock. Between, I've still got 4 of my own.
Right.
Our business partner, he's got 4 he wants to get done right away, but we're talking about just doing his whole herd. He's got a lot of Highlander crosses. Not looking forward to it, but
that one's going to be a fun.
Yeah. Pretty much his whole herd have some kind of Highland blood in them.
What are they crossed?
He started out with pure Highlanders.
Yeah.
Is like a hobby farm thing.
Right.
And I think he's bought some like Highland Herefords, Highland Angus, whatever. I'm not sure. I haven't really seen them, but
do they look cool?
I have no idea. I haven't seen them, but he keeps the skulls for Euro mounts.
Nice.
He keeps the hides sends them out to somewhere in Ohio and has them tanned and sells them. So it's like I told him, it's going to take me a little bit more time. I'm probably going to do one of those at a time just because I want to be tedious about the skin job. I try not to poke holes. He wants the tails peeled whole, like no slit down the tail. So that's going to be fun. But
suck.
It is what it is. It's still money coming into the shop.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Both of us, we pay the shop from our farms full price. We don't give ourselves just because of partnership, trying to keep everything legit. It just makes sense. And we don't have, I've already had people, oh, you're gonna get your butchering for free. Well, for one, it's my shop. I should, but I'm not going to because people like you want everything for free.
Right.
But so far, all the customers that I have booked have been great. Made a lot of good connections. I'm starting a buyer and a seller list out of our shop to help.
I saw that.
Customers and farmers.
That is awesome idea.
I've just seen a need. I could probably be, and it's not. I was talking to someone the other day about it. It's not me being selfish. I want to see the farmers succeed, and I want the customers to get a good quality product. But at the same time, it's giving me the business back. I'm putting a little bit more effort in because I've got a list going. I got to connect people, but
that's the cost.
I'm making the money off the processing.
Right.
So, and I'm building a good customer base by doing that way.
Yeah. I wish I did that right about now.
Yeah. It was just something that popped in my head. I'm like, why not? Worst case scenario, even for the next 6 or 8 months, if I can start getting a relationship built up, I've got one guy that he's getting into local grown meats and stuff. He's an accountant up in Buffalo area, and he has a camp down here by us, and he shot his first deer this year. That's how I got connected with him. But that might turn into a pretty good thing for me because he stopped the other day and was asking me about meat and stuff. And so we're trying to work out a thing to where we get him and his group of people on a schedule where, like I told him, I said, it might not be something that I raise, but I will source something for you and I'll keep them supplied. So I'll have a steady supply of customers all the time. That's what my goal is.
All right. Rachel Brown in the chat says, you have to take care of the people that provide you good services or they won't be there in the future. Nope. Absolutely true.
Yeah. And that's it. Like I picked up some more beef. That guy that brought those 2 Angus in, he was supposed to have them there Monday. Couldn't catch him. Almost. I don't think he was going to get a hold of me. And so I reached out and I said, hey, I'm just trying to set my day up. Are you bringing the beef this morning? Are you not? I just want to know so I can set what I'm doing for the rest of the day. I don't want to get in the middle of something and have 2 beef show up that need to be killed. Yeah. And so he's like, no, we can't catch them. I'm sorry. I said, well, I don't like doing it, but I can come out to the farm. I'm pretty open on stuff. So he talked to his brother. It's his brother's farm. He didn't want me to do that. They finally got him loaded and they brought him on Thursday. And he's like, I really appreciate being flexible with me and working with us. And he's like, I got a bunch more beef where that came from. I said, I got a lot of open dates. Call me when you got stuff and I'll fit you in. And just slowly building customers. Like I did 50 rabbits for a guy the other day. He's actually one of the guys that I asked to come on the podcast and talk with us.
Oh, perfect.
So that set me up because he does rabbits. It's a pretty diversified farm. It's actually pretty cool. Pretty nice guy. But he does pigs. He's actually the one I was telling you about that bought a Hereford boar from New Hampshire.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a big breeder out there drove it out to him. I don't know the guy's name. He didn't tell me. I mean, it's something.
I think I know who it is.
Yeah. So I figured that's something we could get into when.
For sure.
But he's got a Hereford sow, and then he just picked up, I think he said 2 or 3 Berkshire gilts. So I'm thinking about getting a couple replacement gilts from him that are Hereford Berkshire crosses to get my genetics where I want to be.
There you go.
Pretty excited about that. But yeah, he does that. He started doing a little bit of beef. He does market gardening. And he's working at another farm. So he's got a lot going on. So I'm pretty excited to try to get him scheduled in. And
perfect. Yeah, no, we've both talked about privately like in private chat and stuff like that, trying to figure all this stuff out. We are still going to do interviews.
Yeah.
We're just going to have both of us here. I think it'll be fun that way. Like,
yeah, exactly.
So we tested we tested the waters a little bit with like our winter prep episodes.
Yes.
And it's you and me have a good rhythm where it's like we both know what we're talking about. We're both on the same level with things, and we both kind of have the same sixth sense of humor. So it's like, yeah, we could just bounce stuff back and forth.
Yeah.
That's
actually been discussed. I've actually really been thinking about it. It's nice that it's only a weekend. My wife is interested in coming down too, and so there's a pretty good chance I might be making the trip down.
Yeah,
so I just got to get with Kyle.
I asked my wife if she wanted to go to that one, and she just goes, "I think you'll be fine." I'm like, "All right, that's fine."
Okay.
She liked SRF, but it was not her ideal vacation.
Yeah, not her cup of tea. Not something that she's super into. I get it. You don't always have to be into the same things.
Yeah.
So
we're gonna have fun with that one. I think she is coming back to SRF though. Like every time I talk about it, she's like, "Oh no, that'd be good for us." And I'm like,
"Yeah,
you're coming back? All right, we'll get it going."
Cool. I think we're gonna try getting out there for the fall SRF also.
Yeah.
I'd like to make it down there and try to do more of that stuff too. I think the way from the conversations we've had about it, and just I've been watching a lot of clips from Brian and all, everyone, Nicole and everybody. So
it's just finding the way to make it work, to make it feasible to do it. And people do it. People absolutely do it. It's just
the biggest thing for me is with the way I'm running the butcher shop.
Right.
We will have stuff in our coolers and freezers. So I have to have someone come at least once a day and check on everything, make sure it's still running. It's one of those things like I can't afford to lose someone's meat because I left. No. So I'm pretty sure that I can. There's a couple people I could trust at least come in and make sure things are running.
Oh, for sure.
So I'm not super worried about that. But between the farm and having someone trained good enough to take care of the animals and keep an eye on the butcher shop, I just got to get it figured out and figure out, get it nailed down. So I'm comfortable with leaving because I'm not comfortable with leaving all my stuff in someone else's hands when I come back. Usually it's messed up. So I get awful.
It's awful. Although when you're gone, if you just kind of just let it go, it's just like it's gonna be screwed up. Whatever it is, what it is, I'll deal with it when I get home. As long as nothing's dead.
The dead part doesn't bother me so much as the neighbors calling me every 30 minutes saying
you're hoping they're dead.
20 fucking pigs in my yard tearing everything up, or in my hayfield, or in my food plot. All your cows are out and nobody's chasing them.
Well, that's what I've been freaking dealing with these freaking things. They've been tearing apart my barn. They're 5 months old now. And they're good size. Like, I've been putting a bunch of videos in the chat and stuff like that of them. They're good size now, but they can still squeeze under the door, so they're tearing everything apart. I went out one morning, and there's just feed bags all over the driveway. I'm like, what the hell? I'm just standing there. And, of course, I've raised them since they were born, so they're just super friendly. So I'm just standing there, and all I just hear is, and I just look down, and it's just rubbing his head on my leg. I'm like, you little shit.
Yeah, see, my piglets,
get back in there.
My piglets aren't like that. Like, they come up to me and they know I'm feeding them and stuff, but they're not going to be scratched down. So I had to trap them. And when those guys showed up, so the guy called me from the feed store. The Amish guy put a flyer up for me, and he's like, somebody will be calling you next week. I'm like, yeah, okay. I've been trying to sell these piglets for 2 months now. Nobody's going to call me, but I'll give it a try.
Right.
That was Saturday. Monday, someone called me. He goes, I'd like to get 4 of them. I said, I'll sell them to you cheap, but they're not castrated. If you're willing to do it, I said, they're good sized pigs. So you're getting a smoking deal. He goes, how big do you think they are? I said, they're well over 50 pounds, but I haven't had my hands on them to really get I haven't raised enough pigs to get like a visual on them and say, they're, this live weight. And I can look at a pig and be like, okay, that's going to hang at 2 or 250.
Right.
I know that.
But you have that calculation.
Yeah. But so he shows up. He called me right back like 10 minutes later. He goes, you said you had 7? I said, yeah. He's like, how much you want for all 7? I said, this amount. He goes, done. They show up with one dog kennel for 7 pigs that are the biggest one had to be like 75 pounds. Oh, he was all muscle. And so I gave him one of my dog kennels. They brought it back and we made it work. So I didn't want him leaving without all 7.
Well, that's the weird thing, because I know exactly what you're talking about when you're like trying to gauge size on them.
Yeah.
There's like a mental thing that happens when you raise animals, especially from like piglets. Like when they're this big
newborns,
for an extended period of time, it does not matter how much they grow. Mentally, they are this
still
size.
That big. Yeah.
Then all of a sudden you see a picture or you see them in a frame of reference and you're like, oh damn. Yep. Like, you got big. I just went through one of those with these guys, with them running around the barn and everything like that. All of a sudden, they're standing next to something. They were standing, like, in the barn next to the door, and I was like, oh, shit. Like, you can barely get under that gap. Like, you're pretty chunky. They're probably well over 100 pounds right now.
Yeah.
So I'm like, good. Oh, damn. But, yeah. So I could not be happier with those things, though. They, like, now that it's gotten real cold, they've got like coats, and it's so cool. Like with that Mangalitsa and Ospa in there.
I'm hoping that they turn out really good for you. Even my Mangalitsa crosses that I kept this year.
No bueno.
No, I'm not. I think that the one sow I'm definitely processing. We're going to turn her into sausage and maybe do bacon out of her.
Yeah.
Just because she didn't breed back over the summer, she lost her first litter. I'm done feeding her, type deal. So we're going to put her in the freezer for ourselves. We use a ton of sausage anyway.
Right.
But the other sow, she's such a good mom. I hate to get rid of her. So I might replace the one with one of those Hereford Berkshire crosses if everything works out for them. And then that last batch of piglets, they were solid out of Mr. Pig and her. So if I'm thinking that quarter Mangalitsa is the way to go for me anyway.
See, that's what I'm looking at. And it's like, I have the Ospa in there too. So I have it's interesting. Like I had somebody out today picking up and I was showing them the pigs and stuff like that. And they're like, a little small. Like I told them they're 5 months. And like, oh, they're on the smaller side. I'm like, they are. Like, they're not. It's going to be like a 10-month grow out, 10, 11 months.
Yeah.
Which is what it is. But I can already look at them. Because again, we're looking at it from a butcher's eye as well.
Yeah.
I can already look at them and go, you are way rounder, like just the fat quality. I can already tell the fat quality of them at the size they are compared to Herefords at the same size.
Yes.
And just like, ooh, all right, like you're going to be interesting.
So with my crop, I've got one Mangalitsa, it's 50% Mangalitsa, and then it's got a mixture of Burke and Hemp and whatever else in it. And they're still got the narrower back. Like you look at them, even with your boar, you see how his back was more pointed than rounded, like the Herefords.
Mm-hmm.
without growing them out for a longer period of time, you get a super small chop. I just dug some out the other day. I'll have to send a
they're
picture.
So tiny.
And yeah, I mean, it's like this little tiny pork chop at 13 months old. It's like, for me, I just can't do it. I don't have the niche market to market the Mangalitsa. So
yeah, that'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what is in there, because it's like I just put those Herefords through. They were 8.5 months old, right around. The friggin' marbling on just the pork chops, like just the pork chops, the marbling that was in them. It was like, these are amazing animals, and I love these so much. And I've seen Ossabaw chops. They're like coming up. I was talking to my buddy about it a little while back. He's like, they're coming up in like the barbecue pitmaster world. Like they're coming up as the new whole roaster because of their fat and marbling and size, because they're a perfect size whole roaster.
Yeah. But the thing is for me, like in my local area, if you could put a niche market on it, that's fantastic. Like I liked the Mangalitsas for the most part, but for me to raise them in my area, everybody raises, it's more farms around me than there are cities. So you got to be very competitive on what you're raising and how you're raising it, because they can undercut me for what it cost me. So this year, I still got to sit down and figure out the final numbers, but I think I'm barely breaking even on my pigs for what I charge per pound. So I'm better off going back to a little bit more of a commercial style, not commercial, like a heritage, faster growing pig that I can get back to that 9-10 month old range. So I'm pretty excited about those Hereford Berkshire crosses. I'm really hoping that I can get at least one gilt from them this year.
Yeah, and that's what we're just doing this year. I need to find a boar. It's been so low on the totem pole of like it needs to happen, but with everything else going on, I'm like it'll happen. I'll figure it out. But right now, whatever. And I'm thinking about just putting a post on Facebook. Like either I really don't want to buy one. If I can just rent one from somebody, that would be awesome. Because I don't want to deal with building a new paddock and doing that. More than likely, I'd keep him for 2 months and he'd go into sausage.
Yeah.
Honestly, just because I don't need another boar.
You couldn't work out something with your buddy Carlisle there?
I probably could, but I just don't want, like, if I'm not going to be working with the genetics that I have, I don't want to start all over again with a half manga.
Yeah.
And go at it that way. It's like, all right, let's push some out, because now we did keep one of the feeders, one of the feeder gilts. So she's in with Tally now. She is, I think I sent you the picture. She's a freaking bulldog. Yeah. She is so stocky and just like solid. And she's also the friendliest. So I was walking around going, which one of you am I going to keep? And then one bit me. And I was like, not you. Like, you were the first one to go through. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to see how those the Berkshire cross with Hereford.
Yeah, it'll be great.
I've heard pretty good things.
I can already tell you it'll be fantastic.
The Hereford, a little bit faster growth weight, if I understand, depending on genetics. Some lines vary differently. Right. But Canadian said, "What about AI?"
Yeah, just saw that down there. I don't want to deal with that. I would rather deal with a 400-pound boar and deal with that feed cost than deal with straddling my pig and inserting
I wouldn't mind trying it sometime, but I don't have the knowledge breeding pigs yet to be able to be like, look at that sow and know she's coming into heat and keep it tracked and all that.
I have a customer who offered to come help me do it, and I'm like, I just don't like. I don't know. Like, again, it's probably the cheaper option. It'll probably work. But also, there's that chance it doesn't. And then I'm out on whatever money that costs to AIM, where it's like, I can probably find a boar for $200, worst case scenario, or pay $100 to rent it for 2 months so somebody doesn't have to feed it. Like, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, if you're solely looking for getting good pigs to raise out for feeders, you pretty much, even if you found a York or something just to use.
I'm not super picky. So like I said, I'll probably put out a Facebook post, but I've been looking, and it's like, oh, rehoming for free my Cooney or my Idaho pasture pig or whatever, and I'm like,
Canadian to hook you up with some Coons.
no, yeah, no, Canadian can keep those Coonies. I am
I'm not
set.
They do serve a purpose. They're good for what they do. For stuff that me and you were trying to do and actually, grow out a decent pig, it's not something.
Honestly, for my like once I start doing the bigger pastures that's in the open hayfield, I should probably get some Coonies or some Idaho pasture pigs. Am I going to? No, but
if you're going to go with either or, go with the Idaho pasture pigs.
Yeah, but that's why I have the Ossabaw. Like I already have something that fits that niche in there of an awesome forager, and they just transfer food so well. Like, so I'm like, all right, we'll see what. I'm excited to see what Gen 3 looks like because we do have that boar Nino. Oh, that's right. Tyler started butchering today. That carcass looked great.
Yeah, what was the hanging weight on that, Tyler? Were you guys getting those, or you haven't messed with it?
It looked decent. It looked probably around like a 200-pound hang weight.
Yeah, I was just curious what they were hanging at. Because like his Idaho pasture pigs looked a lot different than mine, but mine came all registered like stock, and
they looked good.
But mine, I raised 2 of them, and the smell was like non-existent compared to
really
200 live. Well, that's not too bad.
Well, yeah, no, that's not bad.
But mine hung at like 230 at like
nice
10 or 11 months old.
That's not bad.
They grew and they ate like I actually made when I was on my old property, I had some panels. My grandfather made me some metal panels that pinned together, and I just dragged that around as like a pig tractor, pretty much, essentially. And those things were awesome. They were like puppy dogs. The temperament was really good on them, and their meat was a little bit different, like compared to a commercial pig. Like it wasn't as greasy as like a Mangalitsa's meat,
right?
But it was like in between. It definitely had a different texture and a different flavor profile, but I thought it was pretty good. And I actually really enjoyed them. I think 2 years ago when I was looking for feeder pigs, if I found Idaho pasture pigs, I'd probably be breeding them right now, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, temperaments were really good. Of course, with any breed, you're going to have, jerks, but as a general rule,
temperament, like that's half the other reason I don't want to like breed out of the boar that I kept. Because he is an absolute sweetheart, just like his mom, just like his dad. Like he's going to be a great boar. Like I was looking out behind the shop. We've got like an old apple tree that's like half living. And yeah, Tyler, and sometimes they just go in the cooler.
I feel the pain. I was up to 20. I was up to 21 and I started knocking them in the head because you only can do so much when you're feeding them. Me and Kyle were just talking, not that, or I think earlier in the podcast, but you're at what, $200 a week in feed. I was spending like $280 a week in feed just for the pigs. And then I still have a little bit of grain. I feed the goats and rabbit feed. And now I'm buying hay again for the cows. So I get it. I would have done the same thing.
Us. Down to 10 now. Good for you, brother. Crap. Where was I? Boar. Yeah. But you can look at him now and he's the only boar in the group, and you can already tell he's a good inch taller than everybody else now, and he's starting to walk around like, all right. But at the same time, out of all the pigs that were getting out, he wasn't one of them. He was like, he'd stand on the other side of the electric fence just looking at him going, nope. Right. Like,
I see what this guy does. I ain't getting on the other side of that fence. I want to stay here longer than the rest of you.
Oh, no. So what I was saying was there were a couple. There's one apple tree out behind the shop now. And our plans are to fence in the whole field now. But what I want to do is I want to build him like a bachelor pad in that apple tree, like and around that right behind the shop.
Yep.
Because one, I just want him separated from the girls.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, they're starting to 5 months old. You got maybe a month that they start teetering on that. Because my Mangalitsa cross sows bred at like 7 months old. They got bred. Because I had the same issue. I didn't separate the boar out and didn't think much of it. Next thing you know,
I'm gonna have to figure something out. I'm gonna have to figure something out soon. I'm not looking forward to it. But
yeah,
we'll see.
Look at what predicament I'm in with the sows, and if I would have done it a month ago, if I wasn't so busy, I probably could have had them coaxed down and it locked in by now. So,
well, that's where it's like, that's why I am trying to spend as much time with them as I can. So it's like, all right, you trust me. Like, hopefully you'll follow me. Worst case scenario, again, with all my gate setups and everything, it's fairly easy for me to like have an open area. Mm-hmm. So it's like, worst case scenario, he goes, like, we somehow get him from the winter paddock to down the laneway into the main pig paddock, and he goes out back, and he lives out back for the foreseeable future. I don't know. We'll see. It is what it is. But I've always thought, since we've been there, I'm like, and since we've had pigs, I'm like, it'd be cool to have like just a big old boar pen out behind the shop, just as like a conversation piece too. Just I don't know. We'll see.
I think I'm actually pretty. You're planning on breeding him to that Hereford that you kept back this year, right?
Yes, and then I'm also getting 2 gilts in the spring.
Nice.
So I'll have 3 breeders.
Yep, and then you're gonna
sell 2 litters, keep 1.
Yep.
Because again, there is that niche. See, you have all of the farms around you. Yeah. I have all the new farmers that do all the research
around here.
Yeah,
you can't. I mean, it's starting to slow down now. I was actually talking to another pig farmer that brought me that big sow, and he said he's seeing it starting to slow down. But 2 years ago, when COVID hit, you could not find piglets. That's the only reason I'm breeding pigs. If I could buy piglets, I probably wouldn't be breeding right now. It's kind of, I'm starting to enjoy it. Once I get my setup right, I think it'll be fine. But it's getting to that point. But at the same time, I don't want to get rid of my breeders and then, being the same. I can't find the feeders when I want them in the quality that I want.
No, that
at least now I can control that.
Right.
For the most part, unless I lose some or something crazy happens, but
you never know. It's all interesting. So what are some topics that we've been thinking of?
Well, we just started sharing some links and stuff on the
we're talking about I definitely want to do that Primax episode.
Yeah.
And it's
I started reading up more on it the last few days, trying to get it fresh in my head. And
if you can send me the link from what you're reading, I'll read it too. But
I sent you the one last night.
Yes, I did get that one.
That's actually I'm only halfway through that one, but it's the guy from Kentucky there. He's actually talking about it, and he goes into pretty good detail so far from what I've seen.
Awesome. Well, I know the Joel Salatin one's like 12 minutes, and I can screen share on here too. So we can also like do a reaction to that and pause it and talk about it as butchers. Jason, you talked down to me and said this episode needs to be PG-13 last night. Then you come into my podcast and just blow the doors open with me. Real nice. Oh, that's right. I'm over in the methed out trailer park that is TikTok, so I guess you're just allowed to do those things.
This is where he can come and let loose.
This is where he can come and let loose. Say all the no words.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that'll be a good episode. I know you have a couple people.
Yep.
No, just the fact of saying Kentucky Sustainable Living says midgets can be PG-13. It's 2024, man. Just the fact of saying midgets is offensive to people. They're little people. Actually, I think little people is offensive now.
I don't know. I can't keep track of
vertically
it.
Challenged.
It changes
vertically challenged.
Every 10 minutes, it seems like something changes. I gave up trying to. I've been secluded in my like little hilltop here.
It's so nice. It's so nice. I gotta get. I was scrolling through TikTok today, and it's like TikTok's baiting me. They just send me vegans all the time for the lives. And there was a dude in there. I watched his live for a half hour, just literally just bullying him, just going, I'm trying to join your live, bro. Let's have a chat. You're talking all this cool stuff. Let's have a full conversation. I'm a butcher right here. I'm literally the exact opposite of you as a person, apparently. So let's go ahead and have a conversation if you would like to defend all of these things you're trying to say.
Yeah.
I'm waiting. It's going to happen. I'm like, I even put down to it. I was like, listen, man, you'll get 1,000 times more viewers. I don't even have that. I think we had the same amount of viewers. And I was just like, just the fact that we'll be battling on here will boost the viewer count. Let me in. And he would just go, so many mindless comments. Anyway, pineapple juice is the blah, 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 blah. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. Like, so I had, I don't usually share a lot on my personal page. I don't use Facebook for that. I marketplace the business pages, you know, but I shared something that said, everybody should eat more. It was like steak, eggs, butter, and bacon.
Yeah, I saw that.
Like that. And did you see the comments on that?
I didn't.
So a guy that I used to work with, he's like vegan or something, and he gets very opinionated. And he started kind of, oh, that's so bad for you. And I just started going back at him, like, not as a jerk, but he's like, I'm a health coach and blah, blah, blah. Good for you. And I don't care what you classify yourself as.
Right.
Like, obviously, you're not doing all your research. And we're like complete opposite. But it wasn't a bad conversation. We debated about it. We decided to go our stuff. We agreed to disagree. And people can't do that anymore.
No, it's so crazy.
It's like, you don't believe in that one thing that we disagree and we're not friends anymore. I don't like you. It's like,
well, that's the part of it. That's the part of it that's like, oh, I don't like you because I disagree with you. It's like, I think it's the funniest thing on the planet to just troll people like that. Because at the end of the day, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you knew this guy, but it was like, most of them, it's like, you're just a person on the internet.
Yep.
Nothing you've said has affected me. I don't care at all. But everything I've said has affected you. And I think that's hysterical.
But that's the worst part about it, too, with the people. Like, when we all, everybody here that started doing some kind of content creation, whatever it may be, when you're going into it, if you do not expect to get backlash from people by putting yourself out there and putting your life out there, you're going to set yourself up to be disappointed. Like, I came into it like I was back and forth. I don't like conflict. It's not me. Once I get irritated, I will come at you full force, but it takes a lot to get me there. And I just don't like putting myself in that situation. So I've been wanting to start a YouTube channel for probably 4 or 5 years.
Right.
And I kept talking myself out of it. Finally, I'm like, who cares? If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
Yeah, exactly. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
I don't care if people like me or not. I mean, do I want people to like me? Yeah. I mean, I think everybody does. And that's how you build your content. You get people that like you and you build a relationship with them and you give them something that's relatable. But I don't like, if somebody comments something on my videos that I don't like, I just ignore it. Like, for the most part, if they get pretty raunchy, like, you deal with it more on TikTok. I'm not on TikTok. I've never been on TikTok. You get a lot more of those.
Well, doing the lives now, I get a lot more of it. And I think it's hysterical. I think it's so funny.
See,
the amount of people it's like, you should be on TikTok. I'm like,
oh yeah.
No, I don't know. I've been cutting meat for 13 years.
We didn't wear beard nets in the USDA shop we were in because it wasn't in our HACCP plan. And we always had one inspector that came in. Where's your beard net? I said, I read the HACCP plan. There ain't nothing in there about a beard net. He goes, well, I guess I can't do anything to you about it. He was testing us to see what we'd say.
Yeah.
So
it's never a dull moment.
No.
Well, we're coming up here on the hour. So this has been fun and it's going to continue to be fun. I think we have, I think your brother's coming on next week
I haven't heard back from him, but I think I can convince him to come on.
All right. I mean, if not, we can either do that reaction video next week, or I can find someone. This is what's also going to be really nice about this is now we have 2 pools of guests to come back to. I have someone that she was scheduled to come on the week that I found out that the StreamYard was down.
Yeah.
So I need to reach out back to her. Hopefully she's still down. She's I forget if she's the chair or the vice chair of the Young Farmers of like New Hampshire, like kind of thing. So she was going to come on and talk about that. She's just won a couple of awards for it. She's been a customer for a long time. So she was actually looking forward to come on. So
Yep.
hopefully we'll get her back on and get some insight.
Yeah, I've got two definites. I've reached out to another I think it'll be a pretty cool interview podcast. Yeah. I haven't heard back from them yet. And I've got, I think, two more that I want to reach out to and see if I can pull them on. This is just local people that I've either dealt with in some way or not, or, I've seen their products and I think what they're doing is pretty decent. And it'd be cool to get them out there. They're all on social media one way or another. Most of them, it's just Facebook pages and stuff for their business. But, one, he owns a custom exempt shop. He's trying to go USDA. The other, like I talked earlier, he's got a pretty diversified farm. And the other ones are farmers also.
Yeah.
So,
all right. So now I want you to kind of like sit back and think, oh my God, we're getting 5,000 downloads an episode. We're starting to get some traction, starting to get some guests. Who's your dream guest? Who's the dream guest that's going to be under us that we're going to be chatting with?
I was thinking about this earlier. I was listening to Joe Saleton. It'd be pretty cool to get him on and talk to him. I know both of us are.
Oh, no, you made me change my answer. No, I do have an answer, but that would – all right. So that's the pinnacle. That we'll get there one day. Mine is Jesse Griffith he owns a restaurant in Texas called Daidue, where they only serve just Texas. Everything is from Texas, including it's all wild.
I think I've heard of that.
So he's been on Meat Eater. He's been on Rogan. He's been on a couple other podcasts, but it's like he runs pig butchering schools, like out of his restaurant and his farm and stuff like that. So every time he's on a podcast, I'm like zoned in. So I think there's a good chance of it happening. We'll see. We're going to grow this and we're going to get it there, and we'll figure it out, man.
Yeah, I've got plenty of others, from us talking that I'd like to reach out to, but it's like getting to that point where we can get their attention to make it, Yeah.
Well, we're gonna get you on some stuff. We're definitely gonna.
Yep. I've got application on for the Pasture Pig podcast. I haven't heard anything back yet, but hopefully I'd like to get on there. I've been listening to a lot of his stuff, and I've watched his videos for years.
And I heard back from Tim, so we're good we're going to be going on Tim's to do a butcher Q&A end of the month. And then I think Brian said that once he starts doing interviews again, he'll have us on too. Awesome. Just to kind of shoot the shit, but also promote the show and stuff. Because as I've been putting, I'm actually really trying to put production value into everything I do now. Granted, I over edit everything anyway. Now I'm on it. All right, we're going to do this. If we're going to do this, we're going to fucking do it.
Yep.
And it's exhausting. But we're going to make this work and we're going to get it there.
Exactly.
So where can everyone find you?
As usual, Blakeslee Acres on YouTube and Blakeslee Acres on Facebook. I've been trying to play around with the Facebook a little bit more and get a little bit more stuff on there. Originally, I started that for our farm, for local, but it's actually going a little bit bigger than that now, which is fine. I'm still reaching out to local, customers, potential customers, stuff like that. But yeah, I'm trying to mess around with the Facebook a little bit more and put some more of our YouTube shorts on there and just gain a little bit more traction on the Facebook stuff. But yeah, that's the two main places to find us. And if anybody has questions for us or whatever for me personally, or if you're trying to get a hold of me or Kyle, you can get a hold of us at I want to say it's blakeslee.homestead@gmail.com at gmail.com. That's probably the best way to directly contact me, because it instantly pops up on my phone and I check it quite a bit. So either that or Telegram. Obviously, I'm in yours and Brian's and Toolman Tim's groups. Just make sure you tag me because I'm not in there religiously, or just send me a personal message on there and I'll get back to you as soon as possible.
Perfect. And as usual, I am at Backwoods Butcher 603 on everything. So that is YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. I'm still trying to figure out Instagram. I don't freaking know. I think I'm done. Yeah. I think me and Jason's conversation last night about TikTok being the methed out trailer park and Instagram being the classy folks. I was like, oh yeah, I don't think I'm there. I don't think that's for me. I don't know.
Hey.
We'll figure it out. But
I don't know. I'm not on Instagram or TikTok, so I can't speak to either one of them.
Well, speaking of though, you can go find me being a trashy degenerate over in TikTok because I'm killing it over there with that. Yeah, we're having fun with that at Backwoods Butcher 603. All my links are in the description. Like Joe said, if you want to get a hold of us, and you are on Telegram, you can go ahead. The invite link to our Telegram group, the Critter Crew, is there. So you can go ahead, join the group. I'll accept you. And I'll go ahead and add you as an admin to that as well. So you can get in there and do stuff like that. And anything else? Yeah, Brian yelled at me because I haven't been promoting my shop Facebook page. So if you go on Facebook, the link is in the description. It is the Body Shop 603, Custom Butchering and Euro Taxidermy, because I cannot figure out how to change the name on Facebook. So there's that. But I appreciate everybody coming back after the long absence. And I am once again super excited. Joe is here for the long haul. So have a fantastic... Oh, need to find the right page. I need to get back into it, folks. Give me some time. I hope everybody has a great night, and we will see you guys next time.